So we're gonna merge this one together. Here we have the carbon fiber weave. So guys, I fucked up hard. And what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we have something epic. We've been doing some carbon fiber work on a Alfa Romeo. We got the trunk from the customer now, and it has a carbon fiber ducktail already on it, or I would say call this a spoiler. So we're gonna make it a ducktail. So we're gonna merge this one together with the trunk lid, and then of course on both sides. We are gonna take away the license plate holder, so that's gonna be flush and square, and everything's gonna be draped in carbon fiber. So today's video is about making this a duckbill trunk, I guess. Then we're gonna drape it with carbon fiber. So I'm gonna show some small techniques that I use. Hopefully this is gonna turn out sick.
So guys, we're starting off cutting into the ducktail or the duckbill or whatever you want to call it. I'm cutting off the edges because I want a much smoother transition from the wing down on the trunk. And taking it off, I saw it was plenty of glue, and I was quite surprised of the quality of the carbon fiber. Usually you have fiberglass on the inside and then carbon fiber weave on the outside, but this, okay, it was really thin, but you had carbon fiber right through. I think the customer paid quite a lot of money for this, but here you can see good quality carbon fiber. And next step is going to be, we're going to start off sanding down everything to be able to begin with the next step, and that's actually adding fiberglass. So I'm going to start off with 80 grit paper. Yes, I know that's quite a lot, but as you can see, I'm sanding down every edge on the wing, and then I'm going to sand down a lot on the trunk itself. So the preparations are in the next phase. I'm going by hand with 180 grit, making as much scratches as I can for the resin and the fiberglass to stick on to the panels that we're gonna fuse together. I just wanted to show you how much I sanded, so it's no questions there. Sand it down on the carbon fiber, but also on the trunk lid. Next step is to wash everything off with wax and grease remover. And a huge tip for you guys, mask everything off because resin sticks to everything and it's a pain in the ass to get away or remove. So mask off everything and nice and tightly. I've done this mistake hundreds of times. Now over to preparations with cutting up strips of fiberglass. And yeah, good that I have fun in the workshop making the resin shake dance. We're gonna pour up some resin and then mix up the hardener, and this combo with these chemicals, I just use 2% of hardener in the resin, mix it up really good, and then let's go.
It's middle of the night, so it's time to go home and sleep a little bit. As you can see, we have added fiberglass and polyester, as we call it here, but I guess it's called resin. So resin mixed with the fiberglass. I try to push out a lot of air that's always coming when you're trying to do a lot of radius. So you can see here, took my finger, just went forth and back, pushing out all the air. You don't want the air to be stuck underneath, because then most likely when it heats up, it's gonna loosen up, and we don't want to see that underneath the carbon fiber. So same thing here, just getting the fiberglass from going from the white part up to the carbon fiber. That's very important. So we're gonna let that dry through the night. Be back. It's gonna be Sunday tomorrow, so work hard and it's gonna pay off. And it's the next day, so the parts that we did yesterday or tonight has dried up, and I didn't want to bore you with a lot of sanding, but with what I did, I was sanding down the polyester or resin that you saw me do yesterday. So I tried to make it as flat as possible. That's gonna help me out when I'm gonna add the Bondo and try to get this smooth as possible. And same thing on the backside. Everything's rigid and sturdy. That's what we wanted to fuse them together. And we're gonna go over to the next step, and the next step is using Bondo. I have a special Bondo. I think I've shown this before, but I'm going to show it again. So it's a carbon fiber Bondo. So when the sun hits the part, it's going to start to move with the spoiler and everything. And the carbon fiber Bondo is quite flexible. So the carbon fiber Bondo that I use, I've shown you 100 times before, but it's from Hogmans. It's called Filtech Carbon Fiber Soft. It moves a lot without cracking. That's the point. So I usually start with the carbon fiber as a base, and then I go over to the light Bondo. Makes it easier to handle, but always the structure, the foundation, I build it up with the carbon fiber Bondo. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Lay out some Bondo, let it dry, and I'm gonna sand this 100,000 times before we're gonna add the real carbon fiber weave. It's the next day. Me and Matthias are working our asses off in the workshop, and I've been sanding this trunk lid for, it feels like 2 days. I would approximately say that I put in 40 hours into this trunk lid. I'm not saying that to scare you off, but just know if you're gonna do something that's this custom, it takes time. But as you can see, the transition from the flat part up over the duckbill is close to perfect. I like the transitions. I have a little bit of a shelf here, and it transitions quite slowly. I sanded this with, starting off with the 180 grit, and of course I have had some guide coat on this and sanded it down with the 320. Now the customer had a request on taking away the license plate holder. He wants this flush, so Matthias is going to take over and he's going to cut this out. And just to explain for you, you can see there's a ridge here, or the radius. We're going to try to cut it on the lower part, on this one. It's really hard to show, but on the lower part from here, and then we're just going to put the new steel plate on top of the ridge, weld it around, and then of course finish it off with Bondo so it's flush and nice, because the whole trunk lid is going to be covered in carbon fiber. And this is a really nice touch. The customer has an Alfa Romeo emblem in the back, but it is in carbon fiber. Jesus, really bad lighting in here. You can actually not see it. There we go. Now you can see the carbon fiber. So I think this trunk lid is going to be quite awesome. missed to show you what Matthias did yesterday, but he welded it through. You saw that in the time lapse. After that, I just sanded it down because I wanted the Bondo that I put on now to stick on. And as usual, wax and grease remover all the time. So I waxed and grease removed it. Now I use the magical carbon fiber Bondo that I always want to use. I'm gonna sand it down flat, and then the next round I'm just gonna use a finer Bondo or a glaze. So guys, tedious work, but it's paying off. Look at this. So we welded the trunk or the license plate holder. You saw when Matthias did that, and then I did the first coat with carbon fiber. It's almost smooth and nice the whole way, and the next thing I'm gonna do is actually the same thing that I did on this side. I'm gonna finish off with this glazing putty that makes it really smooth in the end. So I'm gonna cover small bits here because I think it's already really good on this part. It's just like these nibbits. I'm gonna fill them with some glazing putty, but then this whole part is gonna be glazed. I guess it's time for a little time lapse. So what I'm using now, I just sanded down the trunk lid, the glaze putty that we talked about, and just to get these lines and the edges really straight and clear, I'm gonna use something that's called Geico. It's like a black powder on the soft pad. So I'm just gonna shake this one like this. I'm gonna take this over the whole part, and the magical thing with this type of black powder is also that I can eliminate a lot of the sanding scratches, because if you look closely here, I'm gonna show you later on, you can actually see the lines from the sanding pad. And now I'm gonna switch over to a finer grid. So I'm gonna go up to like a 320, and you're gonna see when I'm sanding it down, you're gonna still see the scratches. It's so perfect to use these or this product when you're gonna try to finish off, because I'm on the glazing putty stage. That's the fine or the end putty you're using, then the Geico, and I'm gonna show you the 320, and then we're actually done for the primer. 320 on a long block. Blocks I use is usually the ones that you can adjust, but if you look closely now when I'm sanding, you're gonna see that the scratches here, you got the scratches still there. And if I'm gonna sand it down, I want it silky smooth. I don't want any of the Geico to still be there. Now you can see I'm starting to get the Geico away. Just wait. I'm gonna do this. Now you can see here, it's quite good. You get the lines, and I want this to be straight, so I need sand a lot more here. And then you see this deep scratches here. So you want to eliminate that, and then we can actually move over to the primer. Really good tool. I use it all the time, and it costs nothing. So I'm gonna sand this down, and then we move over to the next step. Just want to highlight yet again. So you got the panel. It looks really good here, and then you can see the deep scratches from the 180 grid. You want to get this away. Otherwise, if you add the primer and the color and everything on this, that's gonna sink, and you're gonna see that. Especially you guys in the US, when it's hot outside, that's gonna sink. You're gonna see the 180 scratches after half a year in the sun. Okay, I'm gonna do this in carbon fiber, so I'm on a too good of a level right now, but I just want to share with you guys so you can learn.
So guys, we moved over into the paint booth, and I'm currently just blowing off the whole panel with my Iron Star anti-static air gun, and we're gonna now prep for the primer. Yeah, as usual, always clean off with the wax and grease remover. Now I'm shooting the whole panel with 2 to 3 layers of primer. We're gonna let this dry till tomorrow, but enjoy the result.
And it's the next day. So primer is dried out and it looks mighty fine. This actually looks like it could you could actually paint on this. Got it really nice and square. This looks perfect. You can't even tell there was a license plate there before. So that's the next step. I'm gonna block this once again. And I know maybe it's too much work. I'm gonna put on carbon fiber weave and then a lot of epoxy, and there's gonna be a lot of unevenness with that. But I think if you build a really good foundation in the beginning, you help yourself in the end. So I'm gonna block this down with a 240, then I'm gonna go over with the machine 320, and that's enough. You want a lot of scratches, not too deep, not too fine scratches. You really want the epoxy to have something to stick on or grab onto, so the epoxy doesn't loosen up, or even the carbon fiber weave. But I think this came out really good. So time for a time lapse. As I said, 240, block everything out with the block, and then with the machine 320. So now we're what I'm usually using when I'm draping or laying over carbon fiber. Oh, sorry. There we go. Of course, we go over to the epoxy. I'm using NM. I think it's Niels Malmgren. So this is the epoxy. This is the hardener. And the first stage, we're going to use some color that I'm going to put into the epoxy. That's black, because when you burn through the primer, for instance, or you have a very light surface, as I told you, I don't want that to burn through. So I'm gonna use black pigment in the epoxy for the first layer. I usually use these rollers, foam rollers. So it's a foam roller. I put that onto this one. For saving some money, I know that sounds cheap. I usually use just a brush. So I'm gonna brush out the first layer, and then I have a super sharp scissor, and that's specifically for cutting in carbon fiber. And then of course we have the carbon fiber roll that I have. I ordered a roll of 1 meter. I don't know what that's in inches. Up there I have the different rolls. I have a 120 roll, I have the 150 roll. What I'm going to do now is mix this up. If I have 1 deciliter of this, it's going to be 0.55 centiliters of this. So I'm going to mix up these two, then put the pigment in. That's for the first layer. I'm gonna let that dry on the panel. The panel is in the paint booth. Why I have it in the paint booth is because I need to control the temperature during 24 hours. Yet again, I know that I'm boring you with how important it is to wash it off. So I'll use the wax and grease remover. I masked this piece off because I know when I put the layers of epoxy on there, it's gonna drip down, and this section is gonna be separate. So the lower part I'm gonna do later. I'm doing the top part first because I don't want to risk putting the weave the whole way down, because I think I'm gonna get so much tension into the material in the weave, so it's gonna stretch and it's gonna make air go in there underneath here. So the stretch is gonna also twist the weave. I want the weave, so it's a twill weave. I want the straight lines in the carbon fiber. I'm gonna show you that later on. So now I'm just gonna try to even this out. Maybe I'm gonna go in with the roller. If it gets too uneven, I gotta get over with the roller to get it more nice and to get a better surface, so to say. But you see, when I lay it down, it's quite thick. It's not gonna run from anywhere. And try to get out trash that you get into the epoxy. here we have the carbon fiber weave, and I'm gonna try to lay it out so I get these lines aligned with the rest of the car, because I did the hood and the front fenders on this car and it went from the left to the right. So I'm gonna try to mimic that on this panel, and this is like on the edge of being sticky, and that's what I want. I don't want it to bleed through, because yeah, that's not gonna go well. So if I take my fingers on here, I guess this is still not sticky enough. I have to wait some more then. Damn. Now it dried up a little bit, so it's more sticky. Now we're gonna try to lay the weave up over underneath on the other side, and then I'm gonna take the scissor and cut it off as good as I can. Now I just have to know which way I want to lay it. I'm gonna lay it on the side, and it's from the left to the right, so that's good, and I can roll out the weave as good as I can. And I have to do this very carefully and know that I can lay it over the whole thing. I'm gonna try to roll it over like this. Whoa. Now I have to cut it. Try to cut it as close as I can, because I want to save a lot of material. Now I'm gonna try to just evenly push out the weave like this. So trying to stick it to the panel. Hopefully the epoxy won't bleed through. That's important. I'm gonna start on the lower section here, and I can already see that some of the material wants to twist. That's not good. So I'm gonna try to push out the air as good as I can. And really crucial here is that you use the gloves. It's really important, because if you use only your hands, if you catch your finger or your cavities on your hands, you can rip the whole fiber. So I'm trying to push out the air with my hands. I'm not pushing hard, I'm just trying to get the air out underneath. So guys, I fucked up hard. I cut it too short. So
as you can imagine, guys, at this point the motivation was really low, and this video became really long. So the second part's gonna come up next week, and please just hit that like button or subscribe to this channel. I can't wait to drop the next video. This came out amazing, so hope to see you then. And as I always say, have a good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever you are. Peace!